We are now left to wonder, is Xbox outright leaving the console space, and are more layoffs ahead for the company? We got a lot to get through, so let's break that one down. Up next. What's going on, guys? It's Kalo, and I'm here to give you the lowdown on all things gaming, and if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to this channel for weekly video game news content. Drop a like on the video, and welcome to the Level Up. So today's story is a bit of a doozy. Over the weekend, there seems to be a lot of stories making the rounds that Xbox is straight up done with the console space. There's layoffs happening here, there's things happening there. I do think there's some truth at certain points within this story, but let's start with the beginning. So this story all kind of started with NeoGaf and this user by the name of SneakersSO, which they posted up a pretty lengthy statement as for where Microsoft stands and where Xbox stands for the future. Quote, without going into too much detail, not long after the last round of layoffs, next one should be coming in Q1 of 2026, by the way, and it's going to be just as massive as the last one. Some rumblings out of Xbox starting coming out that they were a little hard to believe. The ramifications of Call of Duty on Game Pass Gambit not working out were just starting to get properly measured. But the thing that really stuck out to me was suddenly, really concrete plans for actual Microsoft Xbox hardware went from being definitive to up in the air, which was really startling given that this was a thing that was meant to be out relatively soon. It was one of those situations where, despite folks saying, hey, we want to pull the trigger on this in 2026, the steps you would need to take in the lead up to delivering a new console generation weren't being met. Lots of things were sure things started getting pushed. The Costco retailer pulling Xbox, and apparently they were one of many that we'll learn about soon. Told me all I needed to know. To sum it up, the future of Xbox software publishing, with a significantly honed-in focus on profitable IPs, Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, Minecraft, Candy Crush, and Forza Horizon, cloud gaming becoming the home of the Xbox platform, transitioning Game Pass into basically becoming the point of the entry subscription for xCloud access, which will continue to drive up the price tag higher, by the way. They aren't done there just yet either, and releasing their software on any device that has a marketplace and users willing to buy their titles. Maybe some OEM thing will take off the Xbox name, but given what is clearly a collapse in a favorable mindshare, I'm not even sure a third-party OEM is gonna want to have an Xbox console by the time Microsoft is done with their reorienting of the division. Now again, I do think there's some truth there. I don't know, given the bad news that does surround Xbox currently, I do think layoffs are bound to happen at some point. I don't want them to happen. But again, given how they're jacking up prices, they're moving numbers here, moving numbers there, layoffs is almost a certainty. And let's talk about them leaving the console space. This has been a pretty popular topic within the Xbox community and the gaming world at large, with the general populace believing that, yeah, they're gonna leave. Now, this is where I kind of want to step in and talk about that a little more. I do think the general, I don't know, the misconsensus or the actual agreement on, yeah, they're leaving, I think that all stems from the fact that Xbox, as of late, has been very bad at messaging to their fan base, especially their loyal fan base. And you pair all that mixed messaging and just the bad stuff overall with the fact that the general gaming community just isn't in favor of Xbox right now given their price hikes and all that, yeah, you can start to see why people quickly believe this. Then we add in the context part of this all. Again, context is key whenever things like this happen, especially with a big story like this, because Xbox leaving the console space, yeah, that would be a pretty massive story. This is where I look to Mike Straw from Insider Gaming in a new report where he did reach out to Microsoft and how Microsoft basically addressed the rumors outright. Quote, we are actively investing in our future first-party consoles and devices designed, engineered, and built by Xbox. For more details, the community can revisit our agreement announcement with AMD. So again, there you have it from Microsoft. While things are bad overall and the brand just isn't looking too good nowadays, they are committed to releasing the next generation hardware, and it looks like they're gonna do just that. And again, I just think this all comes from the fact that Xbox over the past few years, and this is something I've said multiple times on this channel, they're just not good at communication, especially when it comes to communicating directly to Xbox fans. They say one thing, things change. I mean, there was that story that broke over the weekend that at some point in time, Xbox wanted to make an Uncharted game. There was disagreements with higher ups. That never happened. And then there was this story again that broke this morning from Tom Henderson that Xbox's dedicated handheld was canceled because AMD wanted 10 million units to be sold. And Xbox didn't want to take that risk outright, so they just said, yeah, we're just not going to do this right now. Again, basically what I'm trying to get at here is the reason why people take this story, they run with it, and it seems feasible is because Xbox has just been so bad at keeping things in-house and keeping things down low, they just can't do that. Pair that with just the general bad standing of jacking up your prices after saying you have record profits, yeah, you can start to believe things there. But I do think moving forward, focusing on IPs that are pretty popular like Candy Crush, World of Warcraft, yeah, that just sounds like proper business strategies. And in the same breath, yeah, I do think layoffs are happening. I also do think they're gonna focus heavily on big IPs like Halo, Forza, and all that to make them money. So yeah, it's not out of the realm of possibility there either. But with all that being said, I'm gonna pass this one off to you guys. What do you think about all this? What do you think the future of Xbox is? Because as of right now, as a fan of Xbox for a very long time now, I couldn't even tell you. But that about does it here. I've been Kalo. I gave you the lowdown on all things gaming, and if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to this channel for weekly video game news content. Drop a like on the video, and this has been the Level Up.